Hi, you gorgeous ladies. My name is Jane Mann from Single Female Friends, and this is tip 2 of learning to love yourself. So, tip 2, we're talking about your amazing machine. So, you've got one, I've got one. They're incredible. There's nobody on this planet who can make one. Most people can't fix one either. So, we need to make sure that we take care of our machines. And of course, I'm talking about your body. That's the second time I've been talking about bodies, tip 1 and tip 2. This time though, we're talking about what you put in your engine and how you look after it. So your body is incredible. I mean, it does all sorts of amazing things. It regenerates cells, it gets rid of cells, it cleans blood, it filters oxygen, it does amazing things. I mean, the list is endless. You know, it senses danger, it can smell, it can touch, it can do all sorts of things. It's incredible. But you know, and I know, that if you've had too much to drink the night before, or maybe a few too many spoonfuls of that pudding, or you've eaten too much chocolate, or maybe you've laid on the sofa all weekend, binge watching Netflix movies, you can feel horrendous the next day. Absolutely awful. And most of us just do that every now and again. But sometimes it becomes a habit, and especially if you've gone through a bad split with somebody, it's almost like you're punishing yourself, you're giving yourself a hard time. So in between the naughty bits, you've got to have some good bits, and that's what I want to talk about today. So if you're not careful, of course, your body will just give up on you and you'll end up with some hideous disease. We don't want to be getting that. We don't want to be getting to that place. So the first part of tip 2 is eating healthy. And I'm not going to bore you with, you should have your 5 a day, fruit and veg, plenty of water. You probably already know all of that stuff. But what I'm going to talk about is for single people, it's difficult, isn't it? Sometimes, unless you love cooking for one can be a real bind. And, quite often I used to, in the bad old days, just go for a bowl of cornflakes. That was the sum total of my cooking skills. Actually, I can cook, but I just couldn't be bothered. So for single people, cooking for one, you can cook at the beginning of the week, maybe at the weekend, cook all your vegetables, you can cook all your food for the week. Not only does that mean that you get cheaper shopping bills, because trying to feed one and buying ingredients for one is really expensive, but it also means that you eat properly during the week, and it also means that you eat healthy and you don't have any excuse to go for the cornflakes when you can just open the freezer and take something out. The only thing I'd say though is don't forget to label it, because you may end up thinking that you've got a lovely casserole to come home to when actually you've just defrosted last month's sticky toffee pudding. So label your food and eat healthy. Putting in the right fuel, I think, is the top tip. And if you keep doing that, then the next MOT you get at the doctor's, you're going to be cooking on gas. Sorry, there's a whole lot of cooking on gas and all that kind of stuff in here. I'm going to try and cut that out now. Enough. Second thing in tip 2 is to lay off the booze. Now, again, if you've split up, the bottle of wine always seems like your savior. But, having the odd glass of wine is fine. Having the odd few drinks is fine. If you're doing it every day, and you're making excuses to yourself like, well, it's a treat, or I deserve it, or I've had a really hard time and it's not fair, I need this, or if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing this, then that's a red flag. You need to start waving your red flag. Don't do it. Okay, have at least a couple of days a week where you're not drinking anything, and don't let everything that's going on around you influence your drinking patterns. Easier said than done, I know, but here's a couple of alternatives. So on your couple of days off, if you're struggling with it a little bit, then maybe just make a smoothie that you can sip all night, make a great jug full of it, because the calories in there won't be anywhere near what it is for a bottle of wine. So sip on a smoothie all night, or maybe start drinking sparkling water and zhuzh it up, with lots of fruit, lemon and lime and crushed ice, whatever you can do to make it feel a little bit special for you. But try and lay off the booze if you can. And the third thing is exercise. And again, I hear you. Unless you're a gym bunny, it's a struggle sometimes, especially if you're working full time, because sometimes you're knackered and you don't want to go back out again. And you think, oh, I just can't bring myself to do it. So if you can't do that, fine. Get yourself an exercise video. If you hate exercise videos, then create your own exercises. Okay. There's lots of stuff on YouTube. I mean, just masses of it. And you can follow somebody on YouTube. There's lots of people do continuous shows on their channel with different exercises. You could just decide to do your own stuff, you know, I don't know, 20 push-ups, 20 times up and down the stairs, wherever it might be. But give yourself at least 20 minutes a day. If you can't do 20 minutes, then start at 5, start at 10, but start somewhere doing some exercise. Now, it's great if you can do exercise at all. Going out is much better. And the reason for that is that not only are you going out and getting some exercise, but going to the gym or going to an exercise class or even going for a walk means you've got an opportunity to go and meet some more people. And when you're single, that's always a good thing. So exercise and try and get out to exercise if you can't do it at home. And remember that doing exercise gives you lots of happy hormones, the endorphins in your body. That makes you feel great. And making yourself feel great means that you'll start to learn to love yourself more. So it's a really important one, exercise. And then the final one on tip 2 is meditation. Now, it used to be a lot of hype around meditation, but it's such a simple thing to do. And I think people make it very complicated. It isn't complicated. And again, if you've tried it before and you didn't like it, or you don't feel like you're going to be able to do it, just give it a try. Try it for 30 days. You can do anything for 30 days. So 5 minutes a day is good. 10 minutes a day is better. More than 10 minutes is absolutely great. All you need to do is get rid of all your electronic devices, turn the TV off, take yourself away from distractions, sit down, close your eyes, and focus on your breathing. So you just focus on your breath going in and out of your nose, if you can do nose breathing. And when you get a thought that comes into your head, and it'll probably come in within the first 3 seconds, don't worry about it. Just go back to the focus on your breathing. So don't go along with the thought. You know, quite often mad thoughts come into you. Well, not mad, but just random thoughts. So I've meditated before, and within the first few seconds thought, I need to defrost the freezer. Now, unless you're really careful, you're already pulling the freezer drawers out and cleaning it out in your mind. All you have to do at that stage is go back and focus on your breathing. You don't have an argument with yourself. You don't tell yourself you're awful at meditation. You certainly don't follow the thought and go with it. You just go back to the breath. And it sounds like if you did that for 5 minutes, it would make no difference. But actually, it makes a massive difference. And it calms you, and it calms any anxieties that you might have. So 4 things in tip 2: eating healthy, laying off the booze, exercise, and meditation. That's going to help you learn to love yourself. I'm going to see you for tip 3 really soon.